Welcome back to the Available Post Podcast, the podcast where I speak into the void and hope someone listens. I'm your host, Callum. Let's get wet and wild. All right, today, this episode, the official episode, the only official episode, I'm going to talk about a game it doesn't seem like anyone else is talking about because the Dragon's Dogma game came out at the same time, which, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Looks fine, looks fun. People don't like microtransactions. Agree with that. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's that egregious. It sounds like there's just added bonus stuff, but nothing that affects like the plays on the game. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. Who cares about Dragon Dogma? Who cares about Dragon Dogma 1? Who cares about Dragon Dogma 2? Okay? No one. What we should be talking about is Rise of Ronin, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Spoilers for, I guess, the beginning of the game. I'm just going to start talking about that game. So if you don't want to hear about that game, I mean, there's other podcasts that have been released today on this beautiful day of the 1st of April, which is obviously not only Jesus Monday, but is the anniversary of this podcast. This is 1 year anniversary. That's why you guys see my beautiful face. Look at that beautiful face. I changed. I rebranded. It's all good now. Look at this. Available Post Podcast with Ferallam. That's me, your host, Callum. Let's get wet and wild. Welcome back to the Available Post Podcast for people, by people. We're talking about Rise of Ronin because Rise of Ronin is super cool. First thing, it's set in like 1800s Japan, and there's a bunch of Americans there, and every time you light a little bonfire kind of thing, you get a wonderful hawk cry, and it's so patriotic. And I love that for the game, and I love that about the game. Combat-wise, interesting combat system, really cool. Bunch of different stances, very Neo-esque, very Wulong-esque, 2 games, which are probably my favorite games. I think I can just full out say, like, Neo 1, Neo 2, Wulong are probably my favorite games. They've beaten out Bloodborne. They've beaten out Magic the Gathering, premier card game for ages 13 plus. And I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics is pretty. I don't know. Final Fantasy Tactics, as your dreams are there fighting for their spot, but I think the Team Ninja's pumping out games that I personally love. So, what's different about this? Well, it's basically like Sekiro. It's like Elden Ring. It's like Breath of the Wild. It's like Genshin Impact. Only in the sense that you have a glider, a stamina bar, and you get to ride a horse. And all those things make a Neo-style fighting game so much cooler. It's closer to Wulong in that, like, the way your stamina bar kind of works. But it's closer to like Elden Ring, how your stamina bar. You have a stamina bar, which is not the same as every other game. I guess in like, they kind of got rid of the stamina bar in a lot of the games now, but you still got a stamina bar. And you play with your stamina bar, and when your stamina bar is out, you die, basically. You get bopped. And if your stamina bar is good, you can do stuff. You got like parry deflect your opponent's attacks, which is kind of cool. It's more focused on that. It's it's really cool. So the game starts out, it tells you to make 2 characters. And that's fun. So you spend all your time, you spend like 4,000 years making 2 different characters. And of course, that's your twin player. And you're like, well, that's cool. You play as 2 characters throughout the whole game. That's great. You know, you're the shadow assassin, you're going through, you're doing cool shit. And then, your old mom's like, yo, you guys need to learn how to fight. And, it's classic, pick your weapons and stuff. And that's all good. It's all fine. That's all dandy. You only have 4 stats that you get to deal with, but they all kind of increase different things, which is cool. You got wicked smarts. You got how charming you are. You have dexterity, and you have strength. And you don't look at dexterity and strength if you're me, and you just go intelligence, charisma, because, you want to be wicked smart, wicked charming. Because you don't need anything else in life sometimes, and that makes you be able to use things like persuasion and guns. So that's kind of cool. You just shoot people, which is a nice change. I feel like the guns are much stronger combat utensils. Yeah, like you wouldn't tackle a steak with a butter knife. You need a steak knife. So sometimes you don't tackle a fight without your firearm. So that's pretty cool. So you're going through the game and you got your best buddy, your soul twin or whatever it's called, your shadow assassin brethren, and you have a fun little boat mission first. And you dive down and you assassinate some people and you go in. You're trying to kill a big historical figure, and then you get bopped, and the fight's really hard, and your friend is gone, and it says pick which twin you want to play with the rest of the game because the other character that you created the entire time is going to be dead forever. Goodbye. And you say, oh, I'm glad I spent 4 years in my face making thing for both characters because now I never get to see one again. And then they die, and then you play the game proper where you've foregone your duties or whatever, and then you have to go back. You go beat up your mom, and then you get to the world proper, and you're hanging out, and you get to go to a big city, and it's so much fun. It's kind of open world. You get to glide around. You can go from gliding to horse right away. It feels seamless and smooth and delicious. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So far, everyone's crying about Dragon's Dogma. No one's even said a single thing that I've seen about Rise of Ronin. I think Rise of Ronin is easily one of the most fun things I've played in a long time. Just like going around, you get to be a sweet ninja guy. You get to go talk to people. The dialogue's kind of funny. You go to the pleasure district. It makes you feel like you're playing Demon Slayer. Samurai Champloo. It's very Samurai Champloo as well. It's very good. You get to choose if you want to be like part of the Confederates or part of the the Japanese people that don't want the Americans there, or the people that want the Americans there. You get to choose kind of different paths and stuff. You get to go around. There's a whole bunch of side quests. There's quests that just show up. It's not even the best parts. One of the best parts, you have to find cats. You pick up the cats, you pet them, and then you collect cats, and then you can send your cats on missions to get you stuff. Who doesn't want to have an army of cats to go do things for you? Also, for all you dog lovers out there, the true breed people, you get a nice little Shiba Inu. I think that's how they're called. I don't know. It's a dog. It's a cute little dog. And they go around and you send them off to different shrines. And you can see other players' little dogs and you can pet them on the road, and then you take some of their money and then you give them gifts. And all the gifts come back to little shrine dogs. And you send them out every once in a while. And it's delightful and wonderful. And there's lots of cosmetic changes. There's no like equipment load, which is beautiful. Who wants equipment load? No one. No one wants equipment load. It's terrible. It's gone. You just get to put on sweet shirts, kind of like how Bloodborne did it. Maybe that's why I like it. It's got me like grappling hook flying horses, but Bloodborne-y. Although it's not Victorian. I mean, technically it is Victorian era, just not in Europe. It's in Japan, so it's like a different feel. It's cool. Yeah, you go around, you play as a Ronin, you go slaughter other Ronin, you go do side quests, go help things. It's a rad little time. Yeah. And from what I see, there's no microtransactions. There's only one macro transaction, which is buying the game. It runs smoothly. I haven't encountered any glitches. I've been playing it put a good chunk of hours into it. And so far, I've been having a blast. It's just good. There's lots of cool technology stuff you can do. The skill tree's interesting. The fights are cool. It's also very like stealth based. You want to like try and pick off all the weak guys, like so you don't get swamped and stuff. It's very like strategical in that kind of aspect. I guess I never played Ninja Gaiden, but I think that's kind of how that would be. That kind of idea. It's good. It's good stuff. And Rise of Ronin should get a Should get it should be game of the year. Should be game of the year. The year's barely even started, and everyone's saying that Drago Dogman 2 is either the worst game to ever exist or should be game of the year. But I think everyone's just overlooking the rise of the Ronin, and that's that's I don't know how many podcasts are coming out today on April 1st. But that was my little Rise of Ronin section podcast. Oh man, I gotta do a lot of these for my grand scheme. Like I don't know how I wanted a lot of people to do a lot of these, but it's not looking like there's gonna be a lot of people doing a lot of these. So it might just be me making a lot of these. So that's something to look forward to. I think I'm gonna get my wife to tell the Easter story, and I might do a separate one of me telling the Easter story. And that's because it's also an Easter, but I didn't choose. Well, I don't know, blame it on Jesus or something. Anyways, buy Rise of Ronin, play Rise of Ronin, have fun with Rise of Ronin. It needs some love. It deserves some love. It is a lovely game. I will catch you in the next one. See you next month, or probably the next day, April 2nd, because, I mean, I do daily uploads here on the channel. And you can only find this podcast on YouTube. Let me know what you think about the rebranding. Let me know what you don't think about the rebranding. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.